Yes, yes.
Hi, Senator Booker. My name is Neil. This is Sean.
I'm sorry, your name, I hear Sean's name, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Neil.
Neil.
This is Sean.
Okay.
My wife is here. My other child is here. The whole family you've got out here today.
And where are you all from?
Caldwell.
Which town?
Caldwell?
Caldwell, yes. Essex County.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So the first thing I wanted to do was make a comment. You can see this young man. He is the recipient of Medicaid. And just as the other parents here told you about their children with autism, Sean doesn't have autism, but he does have severe disabilities. And Medicaid is his lifeline, not because it's his primary insurance. It is his backup insurance. It is the cost-effective part of taking care of a child with heavy-duty special needs. My question then, I have two. How do we get the guys on the other side of the aisle to understand the cost-effectiveness of Medicaid? Because if it weren't for Medicaid, Sean would not be living at home. He would be somewhere else costing hundreds of thousands of dollars more. That's question one. Question two is, it's looking like a little bit like the Weimar Republic in this country right now. How do we get the other side to wake up? And how do we get the people in this room not to beat up on you so much, because you stood for 25 hours, but for us outside of Republicans' district to push on them to not buckle?
So, Neil and Sean, thank you for being here and for your whole family. The first thing is just pulling back the curtain and showing America, America. Because you two are sitting there, but you and I both know you represent the voices of millions of Americans. And it's one of the reasons why from the stand I did on the floor, we ran it on all of our social media platforms. We run this now on different live platforms, is because the courage that you and Sean have to be here today, we want those voices to try to dispel or address that poverty and empathy. Number two, I want to say to you is this. I always tell people, New Jersey didn't send me to Washington to be a great Democratic senator. They sent me to Washington to serve the whole state of New Jersey and be a great senator, period. And the tribalism in which we speak to each other sometimes, I'm sorry, is that your wife, Neil? Hi, Jennifer.
Sean's mom.
Oh, all right. Thank you
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your family, for your courageous, beautiful family. But the second thing I want to say is just all of us should understand that we share common values. This tribalism does not speak to the unity we have as a nation. We really do have a lot of unity. The lines that divide us are not nearly as strong as the ties that bind us. And so I always try to, and I have a lot, in fact, one of the reasons why I'm a senator who's passed a lot of bipartisan bills is because I never demonize or degrade somebody because they disagree with me. And I know that that's hard, but the reason why I love your question is because you started with the truth. Let's agree that we all in America want to have a government that runs efficiently and effectively. And we want to make sure that we are investing in the things we get the biggest return. People think of Medicaid as an entitlement program that just spends. But misses that point that he made. Without Medicaid allowing people to live independently or to live at home with their families, if we lost Medicaid and they were not able to provide those services, people would end up in far more expensive care. Investing in primary care physicians is one of the biggest things, since I learned this when I was mayor of the city of Newark. So many people were allowing on hospital emergency rooms for primary care, the most expensive place for care. And then how much money do we spend what they call charity care? I want to get a better word for that, but it comes out of our taxpayer dollars. So what they're talking about is they're appealing to the truth. If they follow through with these cuts, they may cut $250 billion for Medicaid, but it's going to cost our society financially far more on the back end of the issues that are going to be created. We need to be able to make appeals to people on the other side of the aisle. We need to be able to have conversations that start with, and I say this to a lot of my Republican colleagues, that start with, we share some common values. Let's start from there, that our government should be fiscally responsible. It is not fiscally responsible to cut NIH funding, because for every dollar we invest in NIH funding, we get $5 back in the kind of breakthrough. It makes no sense what Donald Trump is doing to science and research right now by cutting indirect costs. Fareed Zakaria, I talked about this on the Senate floor, did this incredible editorial where he talked about how we are cutting science research, that they're now, some of our top universities here in New Jersey, are cutting the number of PhD candidates, postdoc candidates they have. And then he compared that to China, who is doubling down. They learned from their Cultural Revolution, or even what they were doing in Tiananmen Square. They're now doubling down on their investments in science and research because they know that's how you win as an economy, and win actually militarily is to get ahead on science. So I'm just saying God bless you and your family for making that point, but that point can't be one that you just think about your family. It's the one that we all should be making in the larger national conversation that we're whipping up right now. To look at a Republican and say, look, I disagree with you, I'm going to stand my ground with you, I don't hate you. Let's talk about a pathway to redemption right now, because we both share the value. If you take away the health insurance from a family who has their child at home, who might have special needs, you take away that, you're going to cost my government and my soul, frankly, a lot more money. Let's be a stronger, more financially sound, more financially intelligent country. So thank you.